gentlemen, welcome back. Let's get some meal going. Critical Eeks, where word geeks and eccentric folks sit, sip, and over-analyze jokes. We're second screen friendly around here, but it will pay off if you watch, just because... Look at this. It's a conga. You get all kinds of instruments. So... Per usual, I'm sure you've read the title. You know that we're getting into a bit of a controversial piece of work. It's the special that some say is the worst special ever created. Maybe that's true. I have here a list of criteria. That's right. Finally, we're not just doing 5 bags of popcorn anymore. Shout out on cinema. Oh no. No more bags of popcorn, my friends. In fact, I spent a few hours working on this. I can't, you know, let's not exaggerate here. I didn't burn whole days doing this, but I think we're on to something. This list is by no means comprehensive, okay? But it is a basis. It is the basis for which I will perform my critiques. Critique performed. So we have several sections and subheadings here. I want to try this out. The thing is it may get an asterisk. We're just going to jump in. We're just going to do it. We're going to be millennial shrug about it. Be a little PR about it. And I don't mean public relations. That said, we will be adding things to this list. We'll be adjusting things that are already on this list. And guess what? If we don't like something that's on this list, it's gone. So, intro sets tone and informative efficiency. So, does it set up who the artist is? Does the music correlate with the kind of vibe the guy has? Or is it just traditional hip-hop because hip-hop makes dudes think they're cool? Is it did Big J. Okerson walk out to corn? Well, then that sets a tone. And how informative is it? Does it tell us who the guy is, when it was shot, where it was shot? Does it give us credits at the intro rather than at the outro, so I don't have to sit here going, who edited this garbage? I can be like, you edited this garbage. Transitions. The irony. Transitions, we have subject adjacency. So, if Subject 1 is about Mickey D's, and Subject 2 is about your niece, then at some point you should probably say, I love McDonald's, man. I love Mickey D's. Love taking my niece there. My niece is great. She's a funny girl. Blah, 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 blah. Subject adjacency. Are they next to each other? Did it make sense that you went from this subject to the other? And, of course, in the absence of that, juxtapositional timing, which is the classic, like, I went down to Mickey D's and a terrible, terrible thing happened to me. So my niece is cool. Completely random, seemingly completely unrelated subjects, but did you time it out well? Was that juxtaposition sharp enough for us to go like, oh, Wasn't expecting that. Subversion of expectation. Okay. Hinges. Now this is between act changes. Does it crescendo to the hinge? That's the only thing for hinges that I have right now. We will probably be adding some. Cohesion. How do all of these acts add together into one greater piece, right? So in Act 2, do we have a callback to Act 1? This is literally bare minimum for cohesion, in my opinion, my humble Eeksian opinion. Act 2, callback to Act 1. You get all the way toward the end of Act 2 and you bring up Mickey D's and your niece again. It makes the whole thing glue together, cohese. Act 3, callback to Act 1. So when you're at the very end, talking about Mickey D's. And then Act 3, callback to Act 2 to sort of wrap it all up and in a summary. Or add a summary. Stage presence. We're almost to the end of this. I'll list it this once, and I'll put it up on shorts so you can always go look at what scale I'm going off of. Stage presence. Now this one's interesting because character consistency. So energy is one thing. Coming out, hey, yeah, let's go now. And if they can hold that the whole time, fantastic. But if they come out and sort of shoot their shot in the first 5 minutes, and then you see them kind of, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. That is not character consistency. Excuse me. Also in the section, for stage presence, we have crowd work. And crowd work is interesting because it's what we, here at Critical Eeks, CTE, what we call an X2N. X2M? X2N, which is a times 2 negative, which is to say you can gain a point from crowd work if you decide to do crowd work, which is entirely optional. If you decide to do crowd work and you do it very well, you can get a point. However, if you decide to do crowd work and you fuck it up, or you have a plant and it's obvious, or you do something egregious in this crowd work section, that's minus 2 points instead of minus 1. We'll kind of glaze over the rest of these here. There's joke fidelity, hackneyed avoidance. Have we heard this joke before? Monopoly guy. We've talked about Monopoly guys quite a bit. Probably end up getting into it here today just because we're doing the worst of the worst in these next couple episodes, my friends. Rug pull reliance, which is just, is every one of their structures built on the most ridiculous punchline, where it's set up a story and the whole punchline is wasn't that last thing I said crazy? You weren't expecting me to say that. I pulled the rug out from under you. How reliant are they on that? Monopoly guy's another X2N. Structural repetition, originality, point gained for not stealing, in essence. If your whole set is just you, uniquely you, and spoken from your voice, it's a point. We've got delivery, subversion of expectation, of course, the classic, everyone's favorite. And right now, that's all we have. If you have suggestions on what we should add to the Eeks sheet, our beloved Eeks scoring system, let me know. And I'll either add it or I'll explain to you why I'm not going to do it. But I'll be nice the whole time, because that's what we do here. Anyway, let's get into some background on Brendan Schaub. Welcome to Critical Eeks, my friends.
Drake's comments or Kevin Hart's, LeBron's, they're getting hate, but they're not hate on me because I'm not successful. You know what I'm saying? If I wasn't doing they wouldn't be hating.
By the way, what we're listening to right now is a video by, you want to call him the late creator because he's seemingly dead to us, but hope he's doing well wherever it is that he's wandered. Comedy Enforcement. Haven't heard that name in a while, have you? I know. Miss him. When I got into the genre, he was right there on top. He even had kind of a back and forth with Red Bar at one point. I don't agree with his opinions on the bar, but he also, I'm pretty sure, deleted that video. I'm actually certain because I went back and looked for it. Comedy Enforcement, at some point last year, just disappeared, just stopped. There was no warning. There was no community announcement or anything. I mean, I'm looking up his last video. Wow, 1 fucking year ago. His most recent video was 1 year ago. He has Comedy Enforcement Live, his second channel, that only has 726 subscribers, so, you know. But yeah, he was a Latinx fella. And was more along the lines of like a comedy fan who did coverage, and sometimes that coverage was like hate, you know? And we love a little hate around here, of course. But he was a little bit more what I would consider to be like a good faith comedy commentary guy, where he wasn't just out there to badmouth, he wasn't just piggybacking on other people's hate, which is something that, I mean, certain people have made entire careers out of. Oh, this wasn't my idea, and it's not my hate, and I only hate this guy because I know you hate them, but join my Patreon. In his defense, I don't know that he's gone that route just yet, but he will, I'm quite sure. Anyway, so Comedy Enforcement was way before these other chaps. Podcast Cringe and him were pretty much, it was like Podcast Cringe, Comedy Enforcement, Too Lazy to Try. Those were like my 3 that I would always go to. I loved. And then others started popping up. That's when you'd start to see Redact. You're like, oh, okay, who's this guy? I've been watching American Redact since he had 10K. Maybe, I think literally right around that. And there's a fun little backstory, but we'll get into that someday. Why does Jippo of Critical Eeks, why does Druid the Punk absolutely hate American Redact? Someday you may find out, my friends. But then you started seeing Apologia Comedia, and there was, for a while, this channel called Internet Hard Drive. There was a whole bunch of different channels that were popping up trying to do comedy commentary stuff and largely basing it on the model that these guys kind of took from the bar, and then it's kind of trickled down, right? Which is part of what Redact means when he says we're all in the Mike David sphere, because no one was really talking shit about these guys previous to Red Bar. So anyway, I have a note on Apologia Comedia. Apologia Comedy. As I live and breathe. It's amazing. He has the best accent on YouTube. Anyway, second best accent on YouTube was this guy, Comedy Enforcement.
Like my level of success brings that. And I'm not even nowhere. The hate's only going to get worse. Because I'm just getting started.
Yeah. Oh, boy. How right you were.
Yeah. I'm launching Thick Boy Studios in June. Like, I have so much going on.
By the way, if you're here from the Fighter and the Kid Reddit, welcome. Don't worry, I do plenty of hating too. I just I like to give credit where it's due, but especially wait to apply my hate for when it is indeed due.
On and even bigger announcements like, oh, if you guys are hating on this,
and if you hear me say some shit, because I don't know the character Brendan Schaub very well, so if you hear me say some shit and I'm off base, and you happen to be one of the many experts out there, let me know.
Jeez, man. Wait till you see what I do.
It sucks that you can't sell.
Okay, so he was on some podcast. This is a little bit of a cold open. We're seeing kind of a cold crash, if you will. He's cold crashing us like you do to a good mead after it's done fermenting for the first time. He's cold crashing us. He's giving us a little bit of a montage, so, a musicless montage. Film buffs out there could dictate what it is I'm trying to say, but kind of setting the tone. So in the previous one, he was on some pod I didn't recognize, probably one of those late 20 teens podcasts. Now it is back to the fighter and the kid, which y'all aren't gonna like this, but it's a sick set. It's dope. It doesn't fit their aesthetic at all. Why is it a circus? What are you trying to be, fucking Danny McDirtbike? What's his name? Anyway.
Tickets. Oh yeah, you do. Tell a lot of
Travis Pastrana there.
I forgot about that.
Oh, man.
And that's the thing.
I'm so
Danny McDirtbike.
merch.
We've come a long way, and
I'm so merch either.
no,
That's what he said.
no,
Okay, let's go back.
a lot of tickets. I forgot. It sucks
Okay, they're starting it off with a little bit of sarcasm.
that you can't sell
Ever heard of it?
tickets. Oh yeah, you do. Sell a lot of tickets. I forgot about that.
Don't worry, Callan. We're going to get to you. We're going to get to you. You know, Brian, what you're making me do here, sometimes it's hard to be the devil's advocate, especially when, in the case, as is the case with yourself, you're sort of advocating for almost the literal devil. It seems to me like he's really not a good dude. Some of these old stories, so there are people that misinterpret his character. That's always going to be true. There'll always be people who are like, you talk like you know everything about everything. There'll always be someone that doesn't quite get that there's a bit of a character going on there. Happens all the time. You see him constantly. Oh, he thinks he's a man and also a dragon. That, to me, I love a good satirical character. But that's not why he's a bad guy. Alleged bad guy. Yeah, from what I understand, the allegations are a little harsher. But we're going to get into that on the Brian Callen's False Gods episode, which will be how we end up this whole Who Did It Worst series.
And that's the thing.
I'm so merch.
We've come a long way, and
I'm so merch either.
no,
You know, I may get myself a Schaub hat. As far as, like, antagonistic merch purchases.
That's what he said.
no, we've come a long way.
And what are you going to do?
There's just
If you're pissed now, a major network picked up my 30-minute special.
A major network picked up my 30-minute special. By the way, it is only 30 minutes. I thought about it. I'm like, okay, well, can we still rate it then? You know, can we still apply the Eek Scale to what is in essence half a special? I mean, you know, hour's pretty much the standard. I don't gotta be the one to tell you that. The answer is clearly yes. Nowhere on there is it, you know, number of jokes, like number of punchlines per minute. Like, I don't. It's so far not on the Eek Scale.
I shoot in November in Dallas.
Shooting in Dallas. We're going to see it in a little bit here. Let's keep getting some more information on him. Hopefully, Comedy Enforcement, who I could have chosen anyone's coverage. I just kind of did this for nostalgia.
dude, you seem upset about that.
I'm upset for them. Because you're not coming after me because I'm doing bad.
You're not doing bad.
Oh, buddy. Don't come after me. I'm doing bad.
Oh,
You're doing pretty well.
Oh, okay.
He is so... Oh, no. I do get it.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
You keep
cute.
doing better.
We've already done it. This is where I'm
Because
at.
there are some cases for Schaub where it's like, take it easy, man. This isn't that guy from high school. Like, chill out. This dude didn't stuff you in any lockers. He just reminds you of the guy who used to do that. Isn't that right, Redact? But he's also pretty fucking unlikable, just objectively. Again, devil's advocate, I try to go in and be like, I don't know, I like him. You guys are fucking dumb. I think Brendan Schaub's actually pretty funny. I love being able to, in good faith, be that guy. Schaub has not made me that guy.
At maybe we don't reach 1 million views or even 100,000 per episode. I'm okay with it. I would.
It's gotten way worse, my man.
Shit, dude, that'd be great. I can't do the road. I can't give you the good quality podcast. I can't do the car stuff I want to do and be a dad and be a coach and be a good husband. I can't do it. So something has to give. That means making less money and not doing the road? Oh, sign me up.
So in the past, whenever somebody...
Woo! comedy enforcement. I miss you, man.
Use the term Rogan Sphere comedian. A lot of people thought that it was used to try and insult the comedian or to try and...
Oh, he does this cool fucking slow zoom. He's got a kick-ass little background, you know? It's like purpley. Kick-ass is maybe a little bit hyperbolic, but he's got a cool little corner of his room all set up and no congas. Admittedly, I don't see any congas, but it's a cool little setup. I miss this guy.
Undermine their work. However, it is a very real thing, and it's mainly used to try and label comedians who saw their career completely blow up.
The what is? I was just happy to see you, man.
Only you or to try Rogan Sphere comedian me up.
Here we go.
So in the past, whenever somebody used the term Rogan Sphere comedian, a lot of people thought that it was used.
By the way, this channel was almost called The Rogan Sphere, but I didn't want to stick my... I could sense that bubble was popping. Neither here nor there, except that I own the rights to the handle at Rogan Sphere. I don't even think it's at The Rogan Sphere. I think it's at Rogan Sphere. Anyway, fun fact. For sale!
To try and insult...
I might be against terms of service. I'm kidding.
The comedian.
Kidding, YouTube.
Or to try and undermine their work. However, it is a very real thing, and it's mainly used to try and label comedians who saw their career completely blow up once they became good friends with Joe Rogan.
Yep. And I mean, he is truly, and this is just me recanting, you know, what's known in this zeitgeist. Did I use that right? Zeitgeist? What do you call them? Jet stream trails? Chemtrails or whatever. Anyway, I'm just reciting what everyone sort of knows in the genre, but he's kind of the poster child for being a Rogan Sphere guy. Because he was hopefully he'll get into this, but he used to be a UFC guy. And then on air, Rogan and Brian Callen, aforementioned Brian Callen, confronted him and were like, hey, you gotta stop fighting, dude. That last time you were getting punched in the head a whole lot of times, and you're a pretty smart guy, like, you're funny, so maybe pivot to stand-up comedy. And because Rogan did that on JRE in front of millions of people, he sort of gave Schaub that momentum, sort of thrust Schaub upon us all. When he was, I think when he did Gringo Papi, he was like maybe 2 years in. Which, for those of you that don't follow stand-up comedy very closely, that's very green.
And since, naturally, if Joe Rogan...
Like, if someone goes on Kill Tony and does well, and they say, I've been doing it for about 1.5 years, 2 years, Tony would be like, oh, my, you're so talented.
I do, and personally endorsed you.
Oh, okay, real quick. On the note of Hinchcliffe, I had a link. I saw this weeks ago. I saw Tony Hinchcliffe's One Shot. And I was like, holy fuck, I thought it was gone. You could just find this on YouTube? Sweet. So I threw the link up there, and I was like, right around episode 20, we'll start our series, Who Did It Worst? And then today, god damn it, I gotta pull up One Shot, and it says, this has been removed due to copyright claim from VA something. You know what? I want to actually... I want to record who it was here on stream or here on show. We are kind of a no man's show here as far as I do a live. Anyway, so video unavailable. I click my link to Tony Hinchcliffe's One Shot and it takes me to the screen. Video unavailable. This video is no longer available due to a copyright claim by, write this down, my friends, S71 NA Media. A new character enters the roster. Who is this? Anyway, if you have a link to Tony Hinchcliffe's One Shot and you want to be a help to old druid here, old Jeepo, please send me a link. I got my email in my YouTube description.
That pretty much gave you full access to his massive and loyal fan base, and then you...
See, so what he's saying is Rogan, converting him to a stand-up comedian, gave him access to Rogan's very loyal fan base.
Could either build a business or even become a successful entertainer. However, another big thing that made comedians a Rogan Sphere comedian
is that they actually let all the massive success, the money, and the fame get to their head instead.
This is a take I haven't heard since the first time I watched this, probably when it came out. So being a part of the Rogan sphere is not only getting the Rogan bump, but getting the Rogan bump and then letting that get to your head. This is an early iteration of the definition of Rogan sphere, but he was one of the ones, excuse me, and I do mean this, he might have been the one. If it wasn't him, I think it was probably Mike from Red Bob. I'm, what do they call that? Parasocially very close. We're pretty much on speaking terms in that I pay him monthly to hear him speak.
Instead of remaining humble.
But yeah, if Red Bar didn't think of it, then it was comedy enforcement.
And on top of that, because they did pretty much have Joe Rogan to back them up in whatever situation they got himself into, that gave them this false sense of security.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, if I get fired from this, I'll just go on Joe Rogan's podcast and it'll be fine. Oh, is that not funny?
Security and confidence to say pretty much whatever they wanted. And
I thought that was funny.
Act however they wanted, knowing that if anything happened, Joe Rogan would step in.
Russell Peters on there.
He's
and
great.
I love seeing Russell because,
Really, really, really interesting. Gillis is a strange case in this whole Rogan sphere discussion, isn't he? Because without Rogan, I mean, like, I'm not saying, like, he's definitely, Gillis is probably the funniest one, right? Very, very popular. Probably would have reached heights, comparable heights to where he's at now. Who knows? Maybe. But not nearly as quickly as he did. But he's not really considered to be derogatorily one of the Rogan sphere comedians. He's not one of the Cat Williams 6 or whatever by most people's definitions. And I think that's due to the second factor that comedy enforcement was just describing, which is he didn't let the Rogan sphere bump go to his head, or whatever, didn't let that alter who he is. And I think that's how he kind of gets away with it. Because all these comedy commentary channels really, really, really ball wash the dude and talk about golf. And probably, right? That happens in golf. More of a discourage myself. They're always ball washing Shane Gillis. I mean, even here, I can't say anything untoward about his work. Like, fuck him or McCusker. McCusker is the classicest example of a guy I came on ready to be like, fuck this dude. Everyone hates him everyone likes him for no reason. And then, as you've seen, go watch the coverage there. Anyway. So Shane Gillis is kind of an interesting case, but largely, you've got Shane on one end of the diagram, someone who used the Rogan bump and became kind of legend for his own reasons, and you got on the opposite side of that spectrum, Brendan Schaub.
But Russell, last time he made like a joke, a fight joke or something, because he went on after me, and he did that to laugh at too. He always makes a joke. I was like, God, it's brutal, man. I said something to Rogan. I'm like, God, can Russell kind of bust my balls, man? It kind of hurt my feelings. And
he's bleeping balls. YouTube. All right, I've been on enough rants so far, but I got another fucking rant for you.
I was like, whoa.
YouTube, you've changed, bro.
That's what we do, man.
Yeah.
That's it's like the locker room. That's what we do. So I maybe Joe said something to Russ Peters. I don't know. But we're in the back. Goes, what's up, sensitive Sally?
What a good friend Joe is.
He was in front of everyone. I was like, I'm not sensitive, man. What's going on with you? He's like, bro, I was f***ing with you last time. I was literally making a joke, man. He goes, you should be worried if I say nothing.
Exactly.
He goes, I
love a guy like that. It's like, whoa, I'm mean to you because I like you. It's like, wait, I've set up a bit of a catch-22 in your favor, haven't you? You're either mean to me because you like me, or what's the alternative? You're nice because of hate, or is it worse?
Like you. That's why I did. I'm like, dude, come on. I know that. Did someone say something to you? He's like, yeah. A bunch of people like, That's I don't know why.
Completely denied.
Yeah, I was like, that's so silly.
And yes, Brendan Schaub to this day is still the perfect example of a Rogan sphere comedian.
So yeah, sort of the epitome.
Because not only did he have the perfect opportunity by being on Joe Rogan's podcast a million times, but back then it was almost as if Joe Rogan himself had a personal investment in making sure that Brendan Schaub had a successful career in stand-up and podcasting. Not sure if he felt guilty for making him quit MMA. So obviously that gave Brendan Schaub this
I would say so. Whether he felt guilty or not, he definitely felt responsible. And if nothing else, just in the eye of the public, he probably knew, like, oh, I kind of did this, so I'm just going to keep pushing this dude, and eventually I'll be right. Because they say that they're, like, very good friends, and maybe that's true. And maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe they've been out of the game for a while, but I just never really seemed like they were that close, right?
insane level of confidence. He probably thought that he could act and do whatever he wanted and would never...
Like, case in point, the whole backwards cigar thing from very recently. It's early 2026 right now, and a few months ago, within the last month even, Brendan Schaub went on to JRE, I think it was Fight Companion, with a bunch of other UFC guys, and they're all, you know, they got their stogies, their cigars, ribeye. They got their cigars, and they're all smoking them. Look over at Brendan, and he has his backwards. And everyone gave him a bunch of shit for it, and yada, 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 yada. My point being that if Rogan was really Schaub's friend, he'd have been like, Brendan, what do you fucking think? It's back. I mean, keep smoking it, but it's backwards, bro. Like, take the label off at least or something. But no, nothing. Just kind of big dogged him with the other dogs.
have to face consequences or
Is that who the dogs are?
Own up to his mistakes. He flew too close to the sun, and then he caused his own downfall, because to this day,
This is sort of an Icarusian tale, isn't it?
instead of addressing everything head on, coming clean and just taking the L, he's doubling down and pretty much trying to rewrite history, potentially hoping that either nobody remembers what happened, or maybe he thinks that he has a brand new audience that hasn't been watching for the past year and a half.
Again, part of the reason I'm off the road, you're not seeing as many fight companions. You don't see food truck anymore. You don't see a lot of the fight stuff I was doing because I was spread too thin. So when you do so many shows,
Burnout, right? No, they call it here on the tube.
Can't focus on Firing the Kid, the Golden Hour, and then this new truck giveaway stuff I'm doing. Like I can't. So Firing the Kid was suffering because
Truck giveaway stuff did not go well either. Look that up. Podcast Cringe could tell you.
as you know,
He loves this guy.
Brian's busy too, so a lot of the creative or the guests would be based off me. Notice there hasn't been a lot of that, especially the last 3 years. I spread myself too thin. I can't do it. But notice, since I stopped doing all that stuff, how much better are the shows?
Oh, yeah.
How much better is the Schaub show?
Yeah.
How much better is this? So it's going to continue to get
There's a limit to what you can.
Does he still do the shop? I think he probably still does the shop show, right? Yeah, because recently I heard him talking about like how because Brian Callen is not doing good, folks. Brian Callen is in sort of a bad way, and I've seen this on I think Redact and Podcast Cringe, where he's just kind of sitting there, shoulders down. He's just, I don't know, I'm tired, Bubba. he's not doing good, and so Schaub, who's been kind of seemingly kind of callous about it. I mean, you'd think that there'd be some understanding of all people from him, and maybe that's why he doesn't really care. Maybe he's like, you think you got it bad, dude.
because we kind of not neglected it, but you take it for granted. Like, yeah, Firing Kid's fine, man. I can do all this other stuff. Nah.
Because I don't know what the numbers are, but I've seen a lot of like I watched like a wavy web surf and Gamer from Mars and that kind of thing, and they'll cover like lol cows and stuff where like, you know, groups of the internet like gang up on a guy, like they pick like autistic kid. And they're like, fucking kill yourself. It's really crazy, but the guy's actually like a bad guy. And like, you see that happen, from what I can tell throughout the history of, the social internetings. But I don't know. Let me know what this scale was like. But Schaub got it the worst, right? Maybe it's just my perspective bias, right? That was the one I've been watching for a few years go down. So I'm like, this has to be the worst one. But like, Fighter and the Kid Reddit's got some numbers, don't they? And they hate this fucking guy. And so you could kind of see again why Schaub maybe doesn't have a whole lot of candy for Callan these days. But when this video was put out, way before that.
No, you can't do all that stuff.
No. Exactly.
You got to keep watering it, otherwise it's going to die, no matter how big it is.
Correct.
Oh, he was hashtagging comedy news. Pretty smart.
And
Me too.
That's why you don't see me on the road.
This dude was giving so much to us, man.
But I'm around my kids. Like I was going down a road that it's not what I do.
Whoever nails that interview, there's gonna be like 10,000 people who are so grateful.
It's not why I signed up for this. And the other thing is, guys who can manage that stuff, God bless you. You're figuring out better than I am. I can't do the road. I can't give you the good quality podcast. I can't do the car stuff I want to do and be a dad and be a coach and be a good husband. I can't do it. So
almost like you spent your life training to be a fighter and not a personality in the public eye or something.
Something has to give. That means making less money and not doing the road. Sign me up.
Now, we won't talk about what he said and how it doesn't make any sense here in a little bit, but something that I thought was very interesting that I noticed while making this video is how Brendan Schaub is pretty much in a very similar spot as Carlos Mencia is at the moment, which is wild, and hear me out. But
Carlos Mencia? Okay. Let's hear him out as he requested.
one of the many things that has kept Carlos Mencia in comedy jail, or the reason why a lot of people still don't like him, besides what he did in the past,
Which was stealing jokes.
is his inability to own up to his mistakes.
Yeah, that's fair. Mencia went on Tiger Belly, I think it was Tiger Belly. Because, for those of you that don't know, quick history behind it, Mencia got called out for stealing jokes. Apparently it got so bad back in the day when Mencia was on Comedy Central that, like, there'd be a light that people would, like, warn other comics, like, hey, Mencia's in the room. He was that prolific of a joke thief. Apparently. According to them. According to history. So then years later, he was very close with Bobby Lee. He took Bobby Lee on the road with him back in the day. So then years later, he's disgraced for being a joke thief, and turns out he's Honduran. He's not even Mexican. And I remember when that was like, wait, what? I was like very young finding that out, because his whole thing is like, I'm Mexican. Like it was his whole bit. Mexicans be all. I got a whole thing for it. So years later, he was invited to come on to Tiger Belly because Bobby was being like a loyal friend or whatever and wanted to give him a comeback, or Kalila talked him into being forgiving or something. I don't know. But when Mencia went on the podcast, he was pretty staunch about not giving an inch. He was like, I didn't steal those jokes, man. And it was a really bad look. He's like tried to kind of blame parallel thinking, and those people are all liars, man. I was saying that before Ari Shafir, and the what did they call it? The court of public opinion found him still guilty, and that's why you don't hear about him anymore.
Or the fact that he won't take accountability for what he did in the past.
And this accountability he's talking about is if he would have gone on Bobby Lee, if you got on Tiger Belly and been like, "You're right, dude, I'm so sorry," then people would have been like, "Okay, it's been a long time. Let's hear him out. Is he putting out a special? Let's go watch the special." I would have, at least. And people fuck up, but that's not what he did.
And very similar to Carlos Mencia, Brendan Schaub, for the past 5 to 7 years, while he was at the top and very successful, he did make a lot of enemies and thought that he could just bully people around without ever getting exposed, since he thought that he was bigger than everyone else, and Joe Rogan would always be his best friend and have his back.
Okay, and I imagine by the bullying he's talking about, they did some, like, I want to say they were very copyright claim heavy, and they like tried to sue a small creator, I think. So that's kind of what he means by the bullying thing. I assume. I'll say this, as a storyteller, it's a little back and forth there, where it's like, oh, the comedians were giving him a bunch of shit and we didn't understand it. And that's like, but also he was a bully. You could be both. I'm just curious. Show me the nuance.
Again,
make it make sense.
That just shows you how delusional Brendan Schaub was, because think about it. The two biggest public beefs or dramas that he's...
What's his name? Ariel Helwani. The UFC, was one of the foremost UFC journalists and has got this crazy story of back and forth and was banned from being there for the shit he was saying on his podcast. And he said, I will not be bullied. I'm not going anywhere. You can't make me. And Ariel Helwani, a very decorated MMA journalist. And he got into it with Schaub for a while. And and he was like, you could consider me the leader of your hate mob.
Ever been in? Were with people from his own community, which is the MMA community and the entire LA comedy scene. So obviously, being publicly humiliated and...
Right. And then there was the Bobby Lee thing. Dude's kind of a linchpin, I guess, but... Yeah, so then at some point it got back to Brendan and Brian... that Bobby Lee was somehow leading that Fighter and the Kid Reddit that I was telling you about earlier, the one that is Legion. It somehow got back to Schaub and Callen that Bobby Lee or Kalila was somehow in charge of it. So then Brian Callen calls... Okay, it was Callen that calls Bobby Lee and is like, oh, fucking kill you, blah, blah, blah. He said a bunch of crazy shit. Said, very violent threats or something that's how Bobby recalls the story. So, again, the getting to know you section of this, there's a lot of history we're packing into it, but that way you can kind of, if you aren't familiar with Brendan Schaub, you can kind of begin to understand the vitriol for this man. The internet, at every turn, whenever he kind of had a chance to he fucked up, how's he going to talk about it? He just kind of kept fucking up.
Exposed for being a horrible person in any of those communities or in both of them is pretty much a wrap for your reputation and your career. And that is potentially why he
just got to random footage of, I guess, the H3 podcast.
Branching out into car content and making...
Thank you for being here with me and my husband.
Car videos. And by the way, the whole narrative about the...
It's not good. It's not good.
Fighter and the Kid simply falling off because the market was flooded with other shows or that the show went through its natural course. It's not true, and it doesn't apply to the Fighter and the Kid. There were a lot of other reasons why the show fell off, and also comparing the Fighter and the Kid to an OG TV channel, once again, is pretty delusional.
Yeah, what I was saying in the post is, obviously there's a million podcasts now. You got to realize, when we started, it was not, the landscape was not like this. No. The first, I think, pro athlete, comic, duo ever.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
The first.
The first.
Dirty comedian, cage fighter.
Yep.
Podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. You first guys and this was your thing, graphics,
yep.
Selling merch.
Yep.
But being here.
Yeah.
First guy selling merch? What?
Yep.
Podcast. The first.
The first.
Dirty comedian, cage fighter.
Yep.
Podcast. Okay.
Isn't it just like comedian and then there's clean comedians? You don't have to call him dirty comedian. Maybe he is particularly dirty. We're going to find out in just a little bit here. I think, let's hear the end of these clips and then we'll probably jump into the special. I think we've gotten to know this. You've got a grasp.
Yeah. You first guys to. You know,
Also, you probably have been aware of this the entire time, but you know it's part of it.
this is your thing. Graphics,
Table setting.
Yep.
selling merch.
But like being here.
Yeah,
Like Archer and Shell Shock.
it's different.
Surreal, huh?
We're a metric.
Feels like you're on, like, back in the day, like Johnny Carson. Am I right?
No, it doesn't feel like a high status thing. It
But this is vintage, old school shit, bro.
it just feels nice. It feels nice to play with the boys.
Oh, what in the fuck? It's Sit Red Bar of Blank Hat. Why am I blanking on his name?
Yeah, pioneers.
I think you guys are some of the people
Oh, I'm completely blanking on that name.
that do podcasts, and it's so nice.
That's
to
a very
hear.
general
I
thing to
really
say.
do. Now, there is a lot of people
Rick Glassman. There it is.
who do a podcast, but one of the original.
He's grown pretty funny. He kind of... There was a lot of coverage and stuff of him from years back where he, I think, was still kind of looking for his voice a little bit because... Where did I see him? I saw him on maybe Tiger Belly recently. He was on somebody's podcast very recently that I was like, oh shit. Because, I think he kind of earned legend status after he trolled the shit out of Kill Tony. And Tony Hinchcliffe on Kill Tony. But anyway,
Originals, right? Yeah. So you're
Well, by original, you mean like you have been doing it maybe longer than some of the other people. Not original as in like your takes are original or special.
No, I mean,
see what I mean?
Still doing on dating?
This was years ago, but he's continued to develop this guest on a podcast style.
I think about it is, you remember when we were kids, especially you, but especially me too, when you were kids, there was like...
Especially you, but especially me too.
7 channels?
Yeah.
And those 7 channels were popping. They were good.
It must have been a good time being on the hate train for the peak of this.
They were good, man. Weren't they fun? And man, there's a lot of talent there. They were good.
Yeah, bro.
And then cable...
There's nothing like thinking you hate a guy and then getting to know him better and then seeing more of the stuff and you just, that kind of keeps compounding. And a dude that just doesn't prove you wrong for hating him, it's good. It's good. I can see why. I can see where the draw was.
And then cable.
And now streaming's out. We're the one of the original, like Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 9, and they're fun, and we're old timers.
A lot of fun.
But now that streaming's here...
Now my dentist has a podcast.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Now my therapist's like, I have a podcast. You mind if I use this bit? I'm like,
Yes.
all right, whatever,
Yes.
man.
Yeah.
So it's just, the...
His therapist has a podcast. Do you mind if I use this bit? That's okay. Anyway, I think we've learned what we can learn. All right, that's just comedy enforcement. Thank you so much, Comedy. We missed you, buddy. And now, Thick Boy Productions is Gringo Papi. Big Boy Squad, Big Boy Nation.
What's up, Dallas?
Names like that, for me, just paint like a whole potentially cool, fictitious future where Thick Boy Nation rises up and then goes to war with the fighter and the kid, Reddit. I'd get all the action figures and fucking be an epic storyline. That's right, I'm making action figures of all these guys. Collect the whole set. Fuck, that's not a bad idea.
Look at you
I
guys.
don't think you're allowed to use somebody's likeness, but you could South Park it or whatever. Call him the Papi Gringo or something. Anyway. TM.
Look at you guys.
Really bad sound. All right, let me get up here. Can we hear this?
I'm not used to this. Dallas a little different. There's some ladies in the crowd tonight.
I feel like you can't hear that very well. All right, excuse my reaching here. You smell my cologne?
I am not used to that. My
Because how?
demo, 18 to 36 bros. That's what I specialize in. It's a real cockfest usually at these things. I don't mind.
So, intro-wise, the Thick Boy style, Thick Boy Nation or whatever, you know what? To say that it's on brand is a little redundant because it's actually his brand. So that's going to be a check in Seth's tone. 1 check. Informative efficiency, can't give him that. Can't give him that. I don't know anything except the name of the special, which you can do, as people have shown, you can just do as you're being called up onto the stage. Now, this was a little bit of a hybrid. I didn't play the whole intro because music and all that. But they call him up on stage. As he's walking up, they play this Thick Boy style, Thick Boy Nation song. Probably very copyrightable. I'm sure he'd love to claim my sweet, sweet profits. My AdSense. But beyond that, I can't say that it was particularly efficient in how informative it was. So, comes up, and he mutes.
Mind it, though, I'm the bro whisperer. That's what they call me.
Okay, yeah, he's talking about how there's a lot of ladies in the audience, but he's not really used to that because he's usually appealing to the bros. They call him the bro whisperer.
Are we vaccinated up in here, Dallas? Everybody vaccinated? Dicey.
Oh boy, that's an infamously hated line. Dicey. Ugh, you know what? As far as transitions are concerned, that is one demerit. Because that was a terrible, terrible transition. That wasn't a transition. It was just like, yeah, a bunch of bros. Anyway, you guys vaccinated? Really bad.
I love you, Texas. That's how it is. I love it. There's always one guy. No fucking way, bro.
Doing a little act out. Okay. Let's see if he holds this energy. Now, this is a little bit cheating because it's a half hour, so but he's an athlete, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He'd hold it. If he can hold it for half an hour, he probably would have been able to hold it for an hour. But yeah, he's marching around. Oh, hell no, bro. Acting all mad.
That needle's not touching this fucking temple, daddy.
Temple daddy.
As he says, he's taking a nacho, dipping in nacho cheese.
Kind of doing some pretty intense act outs. Okay, I think this, now that I'm saying it out loud, this was one of the more egregious things people tend to refer to as his act outs are, I believe the word is cringe.
Oh, my bad, Mr. Whole Foods. My bad.
Okay, yeah. He's clearly pretending. Like, it's interesting because, and I'll give him credit for it because he does it fairly well, where he kind of knows what a confident comedian looks like. You know what I mean? He knows how they move, and he kind of like he like knocks the mic on his pant. You know, he's got kind of a low grip, and he's walking around, and he's which is like classic "I know what I'm doing" guy stuff.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, man.
Being casual, being whatever you want to do, man. But again, he's good enough at it that I noticed that that's what he's doing, but it is kind of clearly a facade. That's not a comfortable guy. That's a guy trying to seem comfortable. A fake yawn, if you will.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, man. This whole vaccination stuff, I'm not anti-vax, man. I'm vaccinated, but it's all in their marketing. They fucked this whole thing up in their marketing. Without Operation Warp Speed, when they...
Okay, so there was... You can't really call that crowd work. He's kind of talking... He's not working with the crowd. He's sort of working at the crowd there. So it doesn't... It's not going to chalk up into the crowd work, but it won't cost him anything. And in the case of crowd work, that is an X2M situation. Working title.
They launched that. Remember they're trying to get everybody to get vaccinated? And they're like, yeah, go to Krispy Kreme, buy a dozen donuts, get vaccinated. Like, the fuck?
A little bit of a Monopoly guy there. Because it's just, the point of that joke is how ridiculous is this thing that I'm saying out loud? Not like, let me tell you a believable story where I've built a scenario wherein you can believe how crazy this character is, Beth Stelling. It's more of a just like, there was this crazy character, and isn't it crazy that that was such a crazy character? That's a Monopoly guy joke, Dan Harmon's theory, and unfortunately is going to cost him precious Eeks points.
That makes
Not doing good out of the gates, and this is by the book. You saw it. I put it into a book. We're going by the book.
Yes.
This is not just me bandwagoning, okay?
Fat people are like, hell yeah, fuck this.
But I think the Eek Scale is going to develop in a way that will make it a useful tool for us. And I'll even make it available on my Patreon. Please join so I can buy a boat.
It's so confusing. I remember I called my mom. I was like, hey, mama, are you getting vaccinated? She's all, I wasn't. And then, you know, I love donuts. And fucking...
Monopoly guy. This is the same Monopoly guy, though, so...
Remember the first dumbass that messed it all up for everybody, scared the shit out of from getting vaccinated? Remember that?
Ooh, stumbling over his words. Let's see here. Delivery. That will cost him points in delivery. You know, just kind of going through the motions, you'll be okay. You know what I mean? If you just finish what you're saying, but if it's like you're coming up with this off the top of your head and not in a good way, it costs you points.
Idiot. He's all over the news stations. The first...
Let's go back over it. Quick instant replay.
Everybody scared the shit out of from getting vaccinated. Remember that idiot?
That's a clear infraction.
He's all over the news stations. The first moron to get that Johnson & Johnson. Right? Clearly,
it's fun to actually have a scale, right? It's fun to, you know, not bad.
They just... Nobody checked into his background. Remember that? They put him on the news. He's sweaty as shit. He was on all the major broadcasts. He's like, holy shit, dude!
And when we are about an hour and a half into this show, I will be breaking into a hallowed reading of the autobiography by Corey Feldman, Choreography. We're getting to the meat here. We got through the sad backstory, and we're starting to get to the meat. So, stay tuned for that. At the end, we'll have a special musical performance by Old Druid.
Yeah, I got it done. I got that Johnson & Johnson, bro. I don't feel good, bro.
Alright, let's go back. Let's do an act outs again.
All the major broadcasts, he's like, holy shit, a meth addict. They just, everybody scared the shit out of from getting vaccinated. Remember that idiot?
That was our infraction.
He's all over the news stations. The first moron to get that Johnson & Johnson. Right? Clearly a meth addict. They just, nobody checked into his background. Remember that? They put him on the news. He's sweaty as shit. He was on all the major broadcasts. He's like, holy shit, dude!
Gotta point out his eye.
Yeah, I got it done. I got that Johnson & Johnson, bro. I don't feel good, bro. I can't stop sweating, bro. I feel like I'm growing wings!
Okay, I feel like I'm growing wings. Alright, I mean, energetic act out. Like, okay, you're not going to like to hear this probably. Statistically, you may hate to do this thought experiment with me. But, hear me out. Think about if you would have just kept at it. You know, what if you would have just kept doing it? And to county enforcement's point, what if you would have acknowledged the hate and been like, you know, I don't understand why you guys don't like me, but I'm just doing my thing, man. Like, well, you can hate me if you want, but that's not going to stop me. Like, people might have been like, okay. They still would have given him a bunch of shit, got to test it, but eventually, 5, 10 years down the road, what a crazy story he would have. Right? The backstory, the guy that, like, who was the perfect setup. Maybe that's what's bothering me, is hero's journey-wise, he is the perfect setup for an underdog as far as everyone hating him status. He's not your traditional underdog where he's, like, weak of arms and meek of personality. But in 2026, when, let's be honest, but in a lot of spaces in this era, people like that sort of rule the world. That you could set up a guy who's built like a fucking tank and make him the underdog story. And if he would have just kept going, the little train that could. You know what I mean? As Americans, and probably as most Western culture, people who are brought up in Western culture and hearing those types of stories, like, underdog stories are real big. Again, especially in American culture. You would have fallen in love with him if he would have just kept doing it. If he would have just kept working at it, kept being him. Because, that weird act out thing, oh, I didn't like it. I didn't like it now. But it's just years of practice layered on top of each other. You ever worked at something for years? You do get better. Like, you might not become, Doug Stanhope or, Ron on Hirschberg. I'm just kidding. He's too young for that. But, you might not end up being Bill Burr. But at least he'd have been, like, good at it. Again, especially you're surrounding yourself with professionals. You're consistently working at it. You can't help but get better. I don't know. Just a fun altered reality thought there.
I'm gonna lay low for a little bit on the vaccination. I'm just gonna. Remember that moron? It's all in marketing, man. Like, they need to hire some just dime piece actor we've never heard of. Just blast them all over the news, right? Just somebody who's fine. Get them on there and just put them all over the news, all over the nation. Like, yeah, dude, I got the Johnson Johnson. I feel pretty good. I feel great, actually. If I'm being honest, one side effect, I just want to be up front with everybody. Goddamn dick's down to here. Just
kind of down to his chin. I don't mean to take that too literally, guy, but that would be concerning, right?
You'd have a line of bros at CVS just like, just trying to do my part, man. Just.
All right, he's not moving a whole lot, but he's throwing some punches.
It's good to be.
Put it in the parlance of his people.
In Dallas, man. You guys do it right. It's good to be in Dallas. I know.
Good to be in Dallas. Ugh, that was another really, really tough transition. Literally would have been better if he had said, which is why. Because it's Texas, and they were, like, not super pro, because at least according to Kill Tony, they hate the jab down there or whatever. And he was so close to at least attempting some cohesion, attempting some transition there. Being, the jab and all that, the vaccination, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so that's why I'm glad to be in Texas. How we doing, Dallas? Blah, blah, blah. Like, but he missed that transitional, like, half a sentence. A sentence fragment would have helped. Laugh. Fake laugh, bro.
It's good to be in Dallas, man. You guys do it right.
See, that's why it's good to be in Dallas, bro. It could have been that simple.
Good to be in Dallas.
And I know it's not, we're not breaking the mold on that or anything, but it wouldn't have cost him a point in transitions, which it has.
Dallas, I know. Yeah. There's a reason I decided to shoot my special here, man. You guys just give me so much love. I absolutely love Texas, man.
Little pandering. Being a little bit of a pander bear. Okay, well, again, it's not crowd work, it's just cheap. How we doing, Dallas?
Yeah, thank you. I haven't touched a mask since I touched down. It is fantastic. LA is not.
He hasn't touched a mask since he touched down. See? Damn you, dude. That would have been so easy to just glue together. You could have duct taped that shit together. Just like, which is why it's good to be in Dallas, man. That's why I chose to shoot my special down here, actually, Dallas. Woo! They be all, woo! There you go. I haven't seen a mask since I touched down, and they run over, damn right, woo! And it's just kind of It's missing stuff.
Not like this, y'all. LA is North Korea with a beach. It's fucking...
LA is North Korea with a beach. Okay.
But they give us Wi-Fi, so that's cool. They're talking about locking us back down. I can't go through another lockdown.
It's funny because Texas crowds never react to this like we who lived in the North during the pandemic think they should. It even happened on Kill Tony the other day. This guy was talking about how his life was completely upended 6 years ago. Everything just went to shit for him. And Tony was like, what happened 6 years ago? There were even comments about it that had like a ton of likes. They were like, what happened in 2020? What fucking A? You of all people, Tony, you should know, because that's what he's describing, LA being North Korea with a beach, is why Kill Tony moved to Austin. Well, why Kill Tony accepted the invite from Joe Rogan to move to Austin. And it's funny because after moving to the South, I moved to the South after pandemia. I lived in Michigan for the entirety of it. We were locked the fuck down. Couldn't leave for years. Years. It was great. And the things you'd like see and hear and everything that people would tell you was like, if you go out, like you could accidentally kill someone's grandma. And we didn't know shit. We were just like, okay, I don't want to do that. And then, yeah, even after the shutdowns, you needed like proof of vaccinations to go out to places. And so what he's describing is, I mean, clearly it's hyperbole for the sake of comedy, but if you don't vibe with this where it's like, oh, it wasn't that bad, you just probably weren't in a place. Because I had family that was living in Florida at the time, and they were my dad worked at a bar down there, and I'm like calling him like, yeah, man, the world's gonna end. And he's out there. I can hear Jimmy Buffett in the background like, what? Oh, no kidding. Oh, wow, yeah, no, we haven't shut down. We're business as usual. So we'll give him an allotment there.
Straight up, the shop house.
Because even if he's got a more, regardless of what his political leanings are for this point, the background that he's setting up is viable. It's truth.
Also, barely made it through the last one. We eked our way out of that last one. We did not do well with it. Also,
eked.
Dallas, my lockdown's different. I got a 5-year-old and 2-year-old. Parents know what I'm talking about. I would rather do anything else than be locked down with those fucking...
Okay, here's this, though. If he now transitions into talking about his kids, that's a great transition that he just did. Let's find out.
Demons 24/7.
If he jumps off of vaccinations / pandemia stuff, pandemia stuff, and goes into I'm a dad stuff right now, then he will be awarded a point for his transition there. And he needs him. I believe we're starting off at a pretty significant deficit.
We're not even locked down. My girl was fighting with me the other week. We get locked down, we're fucked. She was fighting with me. It's like, Fauci, Delta, mask, what are we going to do? I think to myself, oh my God, my life would be so much easier if I was just gay as shit.
And he totally missed that one. Well, kind of. No, okay. So he didn't transition to his kids' stuff. But he is talking about how his lockup was different, and that transitions him into talking about his wife. So let's hear him out.
Fucking demons 24/7. We're not even locked down. My girl was fighting with me the other week. We get locked down, we're fucked. She was fighting with me. It's like, Fauci, Delta, mask, what are we going to do? I think to myself, oh my God, my life would be so much easier if I was just gay as shit.
This joke is pretty infamous as well, because as we'll find out when we watch Burn the Boats next week probably, Joe Rogan stole this joke from Schaub. And on the note of Carlos Mencia, the way he was called out back in the day for stealing jokes was Joe Rogan. Told him funny comedian, told him funny doctor, slurger.
If I was locked down with the bros, Dallas, Quarantine with the homies? You know how much more fun we would have? Oh my God, dude. We'd like play video games all day. We'd work out. At night, we'd fuck each other. This guy was all, what the fuck? No.
That is the notorious stolen joke. But we'll get to that on our Burn the Boats coverage. I don't know if he stole it too, but all things considered, if he didn't, pretty funny. I mean, I feel like it's one of those just basic, like, LOL thoughts, you know. Oh, yeah, that's what if we were here. You know what I mean? Kind of surface level, but not bad, I guess. It's well delivered. You know what? We'll give him a point for delivery.
I thought we were going to play video games, bro. Sorry, man. I love that. No, fuck no, I'm not into that, dude. I don't want to be locked down with you anymore. I just... What are you going to do, bro? Get bored.
Okay. You know, he's playing around a little bit. The fake laugh is a little bit much, but that would have phased out, you know.
One can dream, Dallas. One can dream. I never thought I'd say this to
Hard cut.
a live audience. One thing that I'm grateful for the governor of California, Governor Newsom, for locking us down for an entire year and ruining small businesses. Because I wouldn't have realized this unless I was locked down with my family for an entire year. I realized my girl's not cool. She's just not.
Okay. It was a weird one. But he is transitioning into my girl now. From lockdown into my girl. There was a transition. We're giving it to him. He's getting a point. He's getting a point. Okay.
She's not a friendly human being.
Funny.
I married a goddamn rattlesnake. She's like, this is my girl. This is my girl, man. This is what I'm dealing with. Yo, listen, LA's different than Texas. They just opened my son's school last week. He hasn't been in school in a fucking year. They just opened it last week. First day of kindergarten.
Let's look up the date when this came out exactly. It says 3 years ago. Click more so we can see the date. April 28th of 2022. Okay, yeah, so, I mean, those dates line up.
I got him in his first day outfit, looking all fucking fly, dope kicks, giant backpack, backwards hat, looks just like me. I'm walking home for school. I'm like, dude, it's about to be lit as fuck. All his little friends out front in their first day outfits. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are cute as shit. I need to document this. I go, T, get tight. There's a bunch of you squeezing tight. Daddy's gonna take a picture. Ready? Cheese on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Cheese. They're all cheese. I take out my phone. I'm all, hell yeah. I snap a pic. I text it to my girl. She gets it. She looks at it. She goes, crop out the uglies. Resend. What?
Sounds funny.
Excuse me? I said, you're in a group chat with other parents, dumbass.
Oops.
Savage, y'all. Savage. I married a Mexican, y'all. I married a Mexican. I thought you would like that. Listen. Listen. I thought you guys would enjoy that. Listen, Dallas. I don't mean like Taco Bell Mexican. No. I'm talking Guadalajara. Born and raised. Came to the States 10 years ago. Illegally Mexican.
Oops.
The real deal Holyfield. Y'all, this shit is...
Real deal Holyfield. Okay. Yeah, he's still on my wife's stuff. It was a really like if we're talking about like coming in for a landing on a transition there, it was a rough landing, but you know, kind of skipped off the lake several times before we jumped off to the next puddle.
I dated a lot of white girls, big titties and flat asses before her, and it just never worked out for me. It just would never work out. And I'll never forget this one of my boys goes, dude, Papi, what are you doing, bro? Get with a Latina, bro. You know why? Because they're fun and they're spicy. No doubt, definitely spicy. Girl spicy, right? You know spicy? You know what spicy means? They're assholes. That's what that means.
Okay. Ooh, I kind of see why people hate this special so much. And I think it is due to my previous point of him, like, mimicking a comedian. Because he's just good enough at it to kind of get under your skin. Where it's like, he's doing all the things, right? He's technically going through the motions. He's relaxed, you know. It's not like rushing his pacing or anything. He's talking to the crowd, but he's not giving him an actual chance to respond. He's just being like, all right, so blah, 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 blah. I don't know. So it's not like crowd work, you know, or whatever. But he's doing comedian stuff. I have this dog, Sasha, beautiful soul, rest in peace. She's a husky, and she was fiercely intelligent, very smart, super self-aware dog. And I was 18 when I got her. And me and my friend, when we were sitting there smoking, she'd just be, you know, hanging out with us in the living room or whatever, and we would just stare at her. We wouldn't, like, make faces or noises at her at all. We'd just stare at her. And eventually she would notice. She'd kind of, like... And she'd, like, lick her paw a few times and, like, kind of fake scratch her ear and kind of look up at us like, what? Like, okay. And we call that doing dog stuff. She's just like she's doing things that she knows dogs do. She doesn't really have an itch in her ear. She's just like, well, I'm just being a dog, doing dog stuff. And so I equate that to this, where he's kind of doing comedian stuff. Where he's like, oh, you bump the mic on your leg when you think something's funny. And you go, right, sir? I hope subverted your expectation. But there's no real, like, substance to it. It's clearly polished by professionals. You can tell that in the green rooms they were really batting for Rogan's boy, and so they helped him put a lot, because again, they're, albeit sort of clunky, there was a transition there between Pandemia and My Girl. And that screams of an experienced writer far beyond the years of where he's at. So I think, you know, he had guys helping him out in LA or whatever. But he's just not quite there yet. He's not quite to the point where it's believable. It's like the uncanny valley almost, where, like, it looks almost human. I can't really pin down what's wrong about it, but it throws me off. It gives me a weird vibe. It's kind of what Gringo Papi is doing for me. It's giving me the uncanny valley of seeing a comedy special, but being like, something's wrong.
Sorry, man.
Who's this fake laugh, bro?
Dude,
you know, Bert Kreischer gets a lot of shit for his fake laugh because it's annoying and loud. True, but I think there's something so distasteful about any fake laugh. You hear it, I call this out, you hear it in music all the time. People be like, they get in the microphone and they go, ha ha. And you got to keep in mind that when you hear it, it sounds like there's a guy with a microphone and a band behind him and it's all one thing. But when you hear that laugh on the radio, that's a guy in a sound booth with big headphones on in a sterile sound situation. And he's like, ha ha, doing like fake laugh, Will Smith fake laugh shit. Anyway, the fake laugh is, we'll say, seldom a good thing.
when we first got together, she was cooking authentic Mexican food 7 nights a week. I'm not used to this. I was like, what? Fajitas every Wednesday? Fuck yeah.
He's keeping his energy up, though. Again, you know, him being an athlete, it's going to help him in this case.
No.
It's going to give him a point for character consistency if he can pull it off through the whole thing.
Oh, dumbass. Not fajitas every Wednesday. Real Mexican dishes, y'all. Real shit from the motherland. I'm talking huevos rancheros.
Okay, there's another thing I've seen quoted a bunch of times. I think I watched this at one point. I've completely... just the hole in the bucket. I fell right out.
Carne asada.
He's doing faces and stuff. They're not great faces, but that is consistent with the other stuff he's doing. So there's character consistency there. You can get a point even if you're bad, if you're consistently bad the same way. Eek Scale.
pico de gallo. And my favorite, chili. Every night, though,
Oh, a bit of humor on that one. It's funny because it is so not funny. I just like
every night, 7 years later, every fucking night.
because I don't have a tongue like his.
I know I look Latin. There's gonna know who
It's a tongue you can hear a mile away.
I am. She's like, honey, what the fuck is happening right now? Is he not a Puerto Rican shortstop for the Dodgers? What the fuck's happening?
See, not a Puerto Rican shortstop for the Dodgers. Yeah, he's not going to beat the accusations of mushmouth.
Right now? Is he not a Puerto Rican shortstop for the Dodgers? What the fuck's happening?
I mean, even then, he nailed it as far as his mouth is going to be able to do.
Dude, I did that 23andMe. I did that shit. You spin the cup, you mail your DNA in. I did that. They sent me jar of mayonnaise back.
You see, it feels like that. It made my brain want to go like, like. But then you kind of do the follow through thought where you're like, well, why am I laughing at? Oh no, that's literally just the empty cadence of a joke. Sent you a jar of mayonnaise back because you're very white. Like, just that's those. It's not a. These are apples and triangles, man. What?
I am what your DNA in. I did that. They sent me a jar of mayonnaise back.
Like the tone there is even kind of did like a Hedbergian tone. They sent me a jar of mayonnaise back. Like kind of a little bit Mitch there, right? Which is kind of what made me want to be like, but then again, in my follow through thought, I'm like, wait, no, that's nothing.
You spin the cup, you mail your DNA in. I did that. They sent me a jar of mayonnaise back. I am white as shit, Dallas.
Because he's super white. Okay. I shouldn't have to explain this, but it can't just be that, right? It's like a band name that has no reason. Like, oh, why are you called this thing? It's like, I don't know. I like the way it sounded. You know, that works for someone like the Butthole Surfers or the Viagra Boys or something. But like, you know, anyway. So it has to have another layer other than mayonnaise white. Also, I'm white. To make a comparison there would be fine if you were just doing a direct comparison. But this whole abstraction of like, they sent me a jar of mayonnaise back. That's not what they do. That's not what they do. You might as well have just said they sent me back a blank page. I am that white. See? Like that's... The mayonnaise thing just doesn't make any fucking sense. The only thing is that mayonnaise is white. It has to have another layer. And that's just... Of course it does.
Yeah. White person handout, page 7.
It's even better if you just speak that way. Like,
bitch, I need a fucking tater tot once a week.
He was like doing this, like he was throwing dice. Bitch, I need a tater tot once a week. Which is a pretty solid summary of this performance so far. I'm just like, she's doing comedian stuff.
I am white as shit, Dallas, yeah. White person handout, page 7, bitch. I need a fucking tater tot once a week.
White person handout, bitch, page 7. I need a tater tot once a week. Again, why dice? Pamphlet. These things, these are fruits and shapes, man. There's no math here. I'm baffled.
Would a fucking Hot Pocket kill you every now and then? Every time dinner would come, I'm like, oh, does she really think beans go with every goddamn meal? Is she serious? She for real? Every time dinner would come, like, does it ever occur to her? Maybe Brendan's not trying to shit his pants tonight. How about that?
Because Mexican food, AUC, tends to cause...
Fuck! Every time dinner would come, my asshole would go like this. Fuck, bro!
energy. He's keeping that energy up, though.
We're dying down here, Papi. It's so spicy, bro.
Okay. Okay, he's doing the full act outs, and again, 10 years. This could have been funny, at least. Excuse me.
I've never been thicker since.
Because what he's doing and saying isn't funny, but there are funny elements to it. He's a big fucking giant man. Him doing like funny comedic act outs, like as long as he knows that about himself and that's how he shapes those act outs, could have been, isn't, but could have been really funny, potentially, in some alternate timeline that we're unfortunately not going to see because y'all bullied him offline.
Since I got with a Mexican man.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thick with 3 fucking C's. Dude, everything they eat, bean cheese, bean cheese, bean cheese.
Oh, God. Again, this is the kind of dude that's, you just can't really, you can't really go to bat for. Except for in the case of that transition, which I just realized he did, which is a good transition. He's talking about his wife and then the way that his wife cooks.
Dying down here, Papi.
And his impersonation of his own Boutolé.
It's so spicy, bro. I've never been thicker since I got with a Mexican man.
Okay, so we're still on Mexican food.
Thick with 3 fucking C's. Dude, everything they eat, bean cheese, bean cheese, bean cheese, bean cheese. I'm like,
Okay, so it wasn't as good as I thought. 'Cause I mean, it was, though, because he went from My Girl to, so Lockdown into My Girl into Mexican food. She always makes this food. Beans don't go with everything. This is an impersonation of my booty hole.
hell, man, we're just gonna carb load year round.
Yeah, now he's on Mexican food. Okay.
We never tailor off the carbs. That's the game plan.
It's a point. Point for his transition. I don't think he did that himself. I think that probably through pretty extensive coaching in the green room, he like figured out how to connect all this together, but that's not part of the Eek Scale. Did he use transitions well? In this case, sometimes.
We're all gonna be built like armadillos.
For the record, we're currently at a net 0 for him because he had 2 bad transitions, 2 good ones. He lost 2 points, gained 2 points. This will be as I was saying, maybe. Are we on? Why is this being weird? It's not saying I have a duration. This is being weird. There we go. Okay, it's on. All right. As I was saying, he's currently at a net 0 because he had 2 bad ones, 2 good ones, transitions, that is. And let's see where he takes it now, because he went from pandemia to my wife's cooking is crazy to I'm on keto. But we'll get there.
Every Friday, my mother-in-law cooks my favorite Mexican food at my house.
I bet. A little bit of technical difficulties, but we're working through it.
We never tailor off the carbs? That's the game plan? Since I got with a Mexican, man. Bro!
Okay, so this is the end of his impersonation of being his own Butale.
I've never been thicker since I got with a Mexican, man. Thick with 3 fucking C's. Dude, everything they eat, bean cheese, bean cheese, bean cheese, bean cheese. I'm like, what the hell, man? I'm just gonna carb load year round? We never tailor off the carbs? That's the game plan? We're just all gonna be built like armadillos? I got so thick in the pandemic, I decided to go on a keto diet. If you know what keto is.
So then he transitions into keto. So again, I don't think that he made all these up, but I think his score should reflect his consistency here. Where's my pen I was using? Oh, fuck, I'll use this one. Sorry about that. Glad you rejoined. I don't know what's happening with the web. Something going on with the...
Keto's
never mind.
The diet where you can't eat Mexican food. That's the diet. It's pretty easy to stick to, man. Just don't touch a fucking tortilla. You know what I'm saying? Here's my problem, though. Here's my problem. Every Friday, my mother-in-law cooks my favorite Mexican food at my house. She has her own house, but does it at mine. It makes no sense. So before I started this keto diet, I went up to my girl. I go, hey, you know I love your mom. Her food, best in the world. It's my favorite. That's why I'm so fucking fat. Listen. Do me a favor, though. I don't want to be tempted. I don't want in the house. Do me a favor. Tell your mom I'm on keto. Can you do that? She goes, why don't you tell her? She speaks English. I went, but she doesn't, though. But she doesn't. You keep saying that, and she clearly fucking doesn't.
Okay. This is kind of a Monopoly guy, just because most of us have to, like, take his word for it, that's, like, a ridiculous thing, and this ridiculous character trait exists. However, there is a certain percentage of the population that could probably totally relate to that or whatever. Like, oh, my mother-in-law also says she speaks English but doesn't speak English. Like, so it's just a very niche joke. We won't hit him with a Monopoly guy charge, though.
Do me a solid, tell her I'm on fucking keto, okay? 8 weeks goes by, your boy hasn't touched a fucking tortilla. Nothing. I walked in the house last Friday. Sure enough, there's a fucking fiesta! My favorite food! You know how, like, Theo Von can't bring out cocaine?
Okay, come on, guys. That's really funny. That was really, really good. You know what? He's getting a point for subversion of expectation. I mean, I wasn't expecting that. That was very funny. That was a good comedic comparison. You
know how, like, he struggles with cocaine? Like, if there was cocaine on the table right now, he'd fucking squirt from right field. You feel me? God bless him. I love that fucking dude. That's I am with fucking...
I heard him say once, he's like, yeah, if I drink a can of beer, I want to do a whole bottle full of cocaine or a whole bottle of cocaine or something. That's funny.
Pozole. I see it, dude. I will fucking take it to the snout. I can't be around it. I see it, I eat it. So I walked in, I go, Mama, you know I love Mama. What are you doing? I know you know, I'm on keto. I know you know, somebody told you I'm on keto. She goes, mijo, bueno, ándale, mijo. Cabron, look, cabron. She grabs his tray, she goes, cabron, look, taquitos. It's keto, bitch!
Oh. Oh. The whole joke was that there's... I see. Kids, Cheetos. She thought he was saying Cheetos, you see. But she speaks English. Okay, whatever. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and do a reading from Choreography, which is, of course, the autobiography by Corey Feldman. Get some music going. You know what? Let's get a little bit more appropriate reading music. Forgot the music entirely last time. That's not right. That last track, that's our bookmark, right? Bard Fox, Bardfox. Shout out to Bard Fox for letting us use their music, not copyright claiming us like Epidemic Funk did. Son of a bitch. So, when last we found Corey, he had just been cast as Copper. He had just been cast as the young hound dog in Fox and the Hound, one of the most heartbreaking cartoons ever put to screen. Corey himself was very sad because he was looking forward to getting to know his co-star, and didn't find out until the day he was on the set that because it was voiceover work, he wasn't going to work with his co-star at all. Little behind the scenes that kind of sucks to find out. But a few weeks later, Mindy and I were playing together, huddled in front of the television in the den. I was sitting mere inches from the 12-inch black and white set, turning the old-fashioned programs I loved turning the dial to change the channel, searching for one of the life-size puppet programs I loved so much, like Kukla, Fran and Ollie, H&R Puffin' Stuff, or Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, when I suddenly noticed the faintest hint of a strange smell. Within seconds, a wall of smoke was charging at us, enveloping the house like a blanket. "We have to get out!" My mother, who had been out back feeding the horses, was practically throwing us out the door by our shirt collars. "Get out! Get out! The house is on fire!" We ran to the neighbor's house, and from the safety of her yard, watched as fire trucks barreled down the street and our home was engulfed in flames. We were lucky to have made it out in time. The official story, at least according to the fire department, was that a burning candle had somehow been knocked over, igniting a nearby curtain. But there were murmurings within the family, hushed voices whispering in dark corners, suggesting that my mother had burned down the house to collect the insurance money. We moved into an extended stay motel for a few weeks before ultimately settling in with my grandparents. Woodland Hills, situated just a few miles south of our old home in Chatsworth, became like a refuge for me, a safe, if also temporary, haven from the volatility of my mother's mood swings, which is ironic because my grandfather, Bedford Goldstein, might be the most terrifying man I have ever met. By the time my family and I moved in, he was in his 60s, balding. The few white hairs he had left somehow stood straight up when he was angry, which was nearly all the time. And his right arm shook constantly, a side effect of advancing Parkinson's. But when he spoke, in a booming roar, his stories dripping with profanity, you'd have thought he was a much younger man. Grandpa was a highly decorated World War II veteran, as well as a former boxer, so he often regaled me with sordid tales of either killing Nazi soldiers, quote, with his bare hands, or slugging some man half his age who made the unfortunate mistake of cutting him off in traffic. As it happens, beating up strangers on the 405 was a frequent occurrence, and continued well into his 80s. Some of his abuse Stories of his abuse were legendary, and I often wondered if the day would come where he'd chase me around the house with a baseball bat, just as he'd once done to my uncles, Mervyn and Murray, when they were kids. In fact, all of the men from my mother's side of the family had hair-trigger tempers, an ample amount of barely contained rage rumbling just below the surface. Despite the fear of impending violence, I felt free for the first time in my life during those months at my grandparents' house. I could spend the afternoons outdoors, riding my bike along the winding streets of the neighborhood, or playing with the other kids who were actually my age. I even had a real, properly enforced bedtime, though I sometimes slipped out of bed after everyone else was asleep to watch Star Trek and later Solid Gold, with the volume turned practically all the way on mute. On rainy days, my grandmother taught me to make macaroni and cheese or fried matzah, or let me roll out the dough for sugar cookies, or sometimes she'd busy herself in the kitchen while I pulled out all of her pots and pans and converted them into a mini drum set. The most incredible part was that she didn't even mind. This has been a reading of Corey Feldman's autobiography, Choreography. Give it up for him, folks. And now, back to our feature presentation. I believe we are currently in the aftermath of, what joke was it?
Keto, bitch!
Oh, Keto and Cheeto. You know what? We're putting wordplay on here. Now, we can't go back. You know, play as it lay, as we say in the game development world. At least I do. Wordplay. And this is, of course, an X2M. X2N. Which means you can gain a point for doing it well, but if you do it and you do it poorly, it's minus 2 points. So we're not going to fault him for Keto and Cheeto. You know what we are. We're faulting him for it. Boom, boom. That's an egregious play on words. You have to be charged. We can't let our society cannot continue if people are going to be walking around making puns like this. Keto and Cheeto. That was such a long walk for Keto and Cheeto, bro. And I just read 2 pages of choreography. Which ruled, to be clear.
I'm just gonna stay thick, y'all. It's my DNA. Oh, the other thing you should know about Dana Mexon, nobody told me this. There's gonna be flaming hot Cheetos all over your house.
Okay. Boy, I hate to do this. That's a good transition, man. Cheeto. I mean, it's on Cheetos still. I hate how we got to Cheetos, but transitionally speaking, I mean, most of the quality of this special, as we're finding by just glancing at the Eek Scale, is transitions. I get why people hate this so much. I don't think it's the worst. I don't know. We'll see. If I'm honest, I think the worst will probably be One Shot, though I don't know that we're going to get a chance to review that. It looks like we're going to have to do Who Did It Worst, the 3, Gringo Papi, False Gods, and what I think will be the worst is Burn the Boats. We'll find out. That's what we have the Eek Scale for.
They love them. They love...
Because again, a lot of this is not based on my opinions at all. That's what I like about the Eek Scale. Like, you don't get a point just because I like a joke. If there are mechanical reasons I can point to that make it, by the standard of the Eek Scale, good, then you get a point.
Love them. They love them. It's like catnip for Mexicans. They love them.
Okay, again, this is very surface level. It's like catnip for Mexicans in that Mexicans like Flaming Hot Cheetos and cats like catnip.
I'm the only person in my house who doesn't speak Spanish. I feel like a refugee in my own goddamn house.
Yeah, still on subject. I mean, Flaming Hot Cheetos, Mexicans and Flaming Hot Cheetos. He doesn't speak Spanish. He's the only one in his house who doesn't speak Spanish. Can't fault him these transitions, bro.
My white friends the other day, Latino before, go, dude, just fucking learn Spanish. Put a little effort in, learn Spanish. How hard can it be? I'm all, bitch, I am 38. I struggle with English at times. You know what it feels like to my 5-year-old son roll up on his bike and talk shit to me in Spanish? You know what that feels like? As a father, you know what that feels like?
He's keeping the energy up. His character, consistency, score. I feel like that needs to be an X2P. Because if you're able to hold, because you only get one, you only score for having your character be consistent. You can only score once from that. So if you do it and you do it poorly, you lose 1 point. But if you do it and you do it well, that's 2 points. Because it's only one chance to score and it lasts the entire special. So it's a cheap way to add quality to your special, but there should be points for it. So that's our first X2P.
I don't have a clue what he's talking about. I don't have a clue. I thought puto meant dude for the longest time.
Go again. Pretty specific. I guess funny.
I dropped out of school last week. I was all, later, puto! Teacher was like, what the fuck? I'm all, puto, puto. Puto?
Doing kind of act outs and stuff. None of them make any fucking sense. Again, he's doing dog stuff. Just like comedians, they do this. This is the cadence that comedians use. But like none of it, there's no substance behind it. There's just nothing there. He kind of did an act out where he's like, punto, punto, punto? Which has the air of something funny, but when you put it to any kind of magnifying glass, put it under any kind of magnifying glass, it does not hold up to scrutiny. It's just doing comedian stuff.
One of the many things I love about the Mexican culture is, and I do love your culture, man. One of the many things I love about it is you guys always have something to celebrate. Every week you have something to celebrate. As a white person, my dad's like, oh, your birthday, motherfucker. I'm like, all right, once a year, be cool, Dad, be cool. Not Mexicans, every week something's popping. Last week, some girl turned 15. Not even related to us. Threw the party at my house. Apparently the Mexican culture turning 15 is a big deal. White people, we don't give a fuck. These Mexicans give all the fuck, yeah. Walk in the house, these Mexicans give a fuck about social distancing. There was a mask in sight. I walk in the house, there's a mariachi band. They're beating the shit out of this pinata. There's Flaming Hot Cheetos spraying over the goddamn living room.
Flaming Hot Cheetos is a callback, you know. I don't think it adds to cohesion because I think the act structure in this is because it's a half an hour, it's tougher to tell. You know, the transition between actual acts. I'll say this is Act 2, probably. It's at least Act 2. I don't know if this is a 3-act or a 2-act structure, but that's not a callback to a previous act, so he does not get a point for cohesion. I don't see any... I think that should be added too. Just because it really can add a lot. Just straight up, regular, you gain a point or you lose a point. Cool.
I walk in, I look at my girl, Jesus Christ, quite the party. What are we celebrating? What, she getting to Harvard early? What's going on here? She goes, nope, just turned 15. I went, fuck yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, that is going to cost him a point, though, because that is structural repetition. He already did a joke about how it's crazy because they have a party for when Mexican girls turn 15. Isn't that crazy? And then the next joke was, so I asked my wife, I said, what, did she graduate from Harvard? And she said, no, she's 15. And I said, that makes sense. It's like, it's the same joke. Structurally speaking.
The other thing I love about the Mexican culture is you guys stick together. You guys are so loyal to each other. You fucking have each other's back, and I love that. White people, we're not like that, are we? As soon as we turn 16, we're all fucking see you, Peter and Debbie, and fucking...
See you, Peter and Debbie. That was funny. That's funny. Again, I liked it, but there's no real... There's no points awarded. It's just me enjoying it. That's why the Eek Scale works, I think.
My real parent names. I told you I'm white as shit, man. Yeah, Mexicans stick together. Like, you never walk into a bar and see one Mexican hammered by themselves. No way. They're there with their amigos. I was taking my family out for dinner the other night. By family, I mean all 15 of them. And we walk outside and they all gather around my car. I drive a 2-door coupe. It makes no fucking sense.
Going back, I got distracted.
Out for dinner.
Decided to play this song at the end here.
The other night. By family, I mean all 15 of them. And we walk outside and they all gather around my car. I drive a 2-door coupe. It makes no fucking sense. And my mother-in-law's at the trunk. I'm all, Mama, we just talked about this inside the house. Remember, you have your own car. I will text you the address. We will meet at the restaurant. She goes, no, mijo. We fit.
Okay. Not going to cost him points for being a Monopoly guy. Yes, this is a ridiculous situation that he has contrived. However, in the Beth Stelling model, he took the time to set up the background so that this character saying a ridiculous thing narratively makes sense. It's been established why this character would say something like that. She does ridiculous things. Again, very, very similar to Beth Stelling setting up talking about her dad. It's, now you can talk about how ridiculous this thing is because you've done the homework. Now we go, oh, of course she did. No, mijo, we fit. Right, because she's the keto Cheeto lady. So, in fact, he gets a point for it. Because this is tough to do right. Now, again, this is a X2N, which is to say double negative. You get 1 point if you do it right, but if you do it wrong, it costs you 2 points. So he is still technically at a deficit for his Monopoly guy from earlier. Just keeping you posted on the scoreboard here. I'm a commentator, right?
The fuck?
Like Johnny Weir.
No, you don't fit. She goes, bueno, we fit. I went, please don't do this. I promise you, you do not fucking fit. Sure enough, we fit, y'all. We fucking fit, man. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. 2 of them were hanging off the spoiler. Didn't give a fuck. Forget how I'm going to wrap up this Mexican bait going hard on my family.
Forget how Mexican... What?
Forget how I'm going to wrap up this Mexican bait going hard on my family.
I'm sorry. That's another point deducted for delivery there. Let me see, because it's not poorly rehearsed. It's just poorly spoken.
Forget how I'm going to wrap up this Mexican bait going hard on my family.
Okay. So delivery, as well as being well rehearsed, clearly spoken. Clearly spoken. Clearly spoken.
Oh, I know. Me and my girl, we're not doing well. That's right. We're not doing well. So she wanted to go to couples therapy. I'm like, all right, good luck finding one during the middle of the pandemic.
Okay. But let me guess. She did, though.
She found one, man. She fucking found one, yeah.
Okay. Gonna double check this transition here. Actually, well,
Wrap up this Mexican bit going hard on my family.
I forget how I'm going to wrap up this Mexican bit going hard on my family.
Forget how I'm gonna wrap up this Mexican bit going hard on my family. Oh, I know. Me and my girl, we're not doing well. That's right. We're not doing well. So she wanted to go to couples therapy.
Now, this is an interesting one. Because as I've said, if you're telling a bad story, and at one point your narrator goes, "This is a bad story," excuse me, and then continues to tell the same quality of story, that's bad. That doesn't help. It doesn't self-awareness. No points for self-awareness. If what you're doing is bad and you say it's bad and I know it and you just keep doing bad, you don't get a point for that. It happens in a lot of like shitty movies where they're like, but the dialogue's terrible, but then the dialogue continues to be terrible. You don't get points for not acknowledging that what you're doing sucks. Neat, cool, good for you. Maybe you can pivot that into some kind of growth or something. But you don't get points for acknowledging alone. However, this is weird because he says, I don't remember how I'm going to transition. He doesn't go, I don't have a transition for this. Anyway, new thing, which, again, there'd be no points deducted, no points awarded. It's maybe even taken away because that's a bad transition. You're just acknowledging this transition is bad. But in this case, he said, I don't remember what the transition was. And then he acknowledges that he doesn't remember it, and then he remembers it and goes, oh yeah, it's this. Which is a definite point for his transition because it existed. He was pretty casual about it too. I almost want to give him a point for performance there just because he kept it cool. He stayed in the pocket. I don't remember how I'm going to get out of this bit. Oh right, this is how I do it. It also kind of rings the bell of truth on my point earlier that other people helped him write this, but neither here nor there.
I'm like, all right, good luck finding one during the middle of pandemic. She found one, man. She fucking found one. Yeah, 2-star review, but we're going. So we're driving to couples therapy. She's crying just because she ran a Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Between the last callback and that callback, we're going to award a point. I didn't love this one. Hell, I didn't love the first one. But I do think contemporary style has really moved away from leaning on to callbacks. I think it's become, in some people's eyes, very hackneyed. But like anything that's hack, it worked for a long time. People are sick of it now. But it worked for a reason. Understanding that reason and reapplying it, I think, is where you're at your best. You know, the hero's journey works because that's just it, across the human condition. We can relate to that, right? A good callback, even in this we'll say the post-callback era. We're living in post-callback era now. I still think you can gain so much from doing it well. So with these 2 callbacks, we will award him 1 point. Because we want to see more of that kind of thing.
I'm crying.
Because that eventually evolves into cohesion, which is kind of callbacks between acts, which help the whole thing glue together.
Just because my life currently.
According to the Eek Scale, over which I have no control.
And we pull up this brick building, this small brick building. I've never seen some shit like this. Small little brick building. We pull up and this therapist has her name plastered on the side of the goddamn building. Giant red neon letters, just fucking zzz. It says Dr. Rodriguez. I get out, I'm like, what?
He's gesturing.
It's an away game for your boy, isn't it? We did not go in there, Dallas. We did not. We're looking
Yeah. Okay, guys, calm down.
for Dr. Robinson, maybe Dr. Allen at this point. You feel me? Well, home field advantage.
That's tough because this is structurally the same thing twice. Let's go back. I'll point out. Well, he says kind of an away game for your boy here because Rodriguez is clearly Hispanic. He's not Hispanic. But then he goes on to say,
We did not go in there, Dallas. We did not.
They didn't go in there because it was an away game for your boy.
We're looking for Dr. Robinson, maybe Dr. Allen at this point. You feel me?
Keeps winking.
Well, home field advantage.
Home field advantage. That's the same joke. Sorry, buddy, but that's a point against you. That's a demerit for structural repetition.
I moved in a house recently. Moved in a new house in LA. Whenever you move in a new house, it's always weird, but it's even weirder in the middle of a pandemic. So we moved in a new house. My girl goes, Papi.
Starting to rush a little bit. Excuse me.
I've seen the neighbors. They're pretty old. Let's play it safe. They're probably COVID conscious. Why don't you just go over and introduce yourself, right? I'll bake some Mexican cookies, and you go over there. I'm like, what the fuck's Mexican cookie? What are you talking about? It's like a chocolate chip with salsa all over it? What are you talking about?
And that right there is where his surface level, quote, jokes really catch up to him. Because not even the crowd was willing to really go with that. They were kind of like, oh. No, that's nothing. Like, this is so funny because this is him doing comedian stuff. He sets it up. He's like, it's a decent premise. By the time he gets to the punchline, he set it up and set it up pretty well, right? Mexican cookie, what's that? And then we're all going, yeah, well, what is that? He goes, a chocolate chip cookie with salsa on top. It's like, oh, because salsa is. But then it's just a cookie. Oh, shit, this is bad. That's really, really weak. Do I have anything on here that I can... Yeah. I don't think we can fault him for... We can't get him on subversion of expectation. I feel like a cop having pulled someone over. What technically can I fault you for here? Okay. These are notes, so let's go ahead. Anyway, I don't think we've got anything we can really get him on here. We'll say rug pull reliance, maybe? That's not that, though. Yeah, okay, can't cost him a point just because I don't like it. It's technically a joke, It's technically, there's a set, like, mechanically... I mean, it's garbage, but it's sound. Ugh.
What the fuck's Mexican cookie? What are you talking about? It's like a chocolate chip with salsa all over it? What are you talking about? I'm like, that's
Somebody booed. No!
All over it? What are you talking about? I'm like,
that's another very famous clip. Anytime, like, it's one of, I've pointed out like three, it's one of those three. When someone goes like, Gringo Papi, they'll play one of those three clips. And I get that.
It's a terrible idea. I'll take it.
But the thing is unfortunately, you could really have done that at any point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could take really any snippet of this. Doesn't really need to be reframed too distinctly to make it seem as bad as it really, frankly, is.
I'll figure it out. So first night in the new house, everything's all good, man. Everything's all good. Kids fall asleep, girl falls asleep, I fall asleep, all good. 3 a.m. on the dot, I'm woken up to, what the fuck is howling outside?
Okay.
Whatever. Next day I install the security stuff, cameras, the Ring stuff, all that stuff, the doorbell, all the Ring security stuff, all good. Fall asleep.
Wait, how did we get here?
First night in the new house, everything's all... Yeah, talking about. It's like a chocolate chip with salsa all over it? What are you talking about?
How are we on here?
In LA. Whenever you move in a new house, it's always weird.
Okay, you moved to a new house. How do we get there?
We're looking for Dr. Robinson, maybe Dr. Allen at this point. You feel me?
Ooh, this feels like it's a bad transition.
Well, home field advantage.
Okay, we got him for that. Structural repetition demerit.
I moved in a house recently. Moved in a new house in LA. Whenever you move in a new house, it's always weird, but it's even weirder in the middle of a pandemic. So we moved in a new house. My girl goes, Papi, I've seen the neighbors. They're pretty old. Let's play it safe. They're probably COVID conscious. Why don't you just go over and do shit?
Yeah, that cost him a point for transition there. It just was non-existent. I thought we were still talking about Mexican cookies or whatever the fuck. Still a net gain. He still gained one total point net gain because he has 4 points. Actually, that's 5 transitional points. He's got a net gain of 2 on his transitions.
Yourself right.
But right there shows that it shows his oversight as a rookie. Just that he didn't. No one told him that he needed a transition there, so he didn't recognize that he needed one. Just like he didn't recognize the other ones needed transitions. Professional comedians taught him that.
Bake some Mexican cookies and you go over them like,
I think.
what the fuck's a Mexican cookie? What are you talking about? It's like a chocolate chip with salsa all over it? What are you talking about? Man, that's a terrible idea. I'll take it. I'll figure it out. So first night in the new house, everything's all good, man. Everything's all good. Kids fall asleep.
Okay, so now we've just shoehorned our way into a new house.
Girl falls asleep. I fall asleep. All good. 3 a.m. on the dot. I'm woken up to, what the fuck is howling outside? Whatever. Next day I install the security stuff. Cameras, the Ring stuff, all that stuff, the doorbell, all the Ring security stuff. All good. Fall asleep that night. Kids asleep, girls asleep, I fall asleep. 3 a.m. on the goddamn dot. I'm woken up again. There's a goddamn gargoyle outside my window, dude.
Gargoyle outside my window.
Well, I didn't know about this Ring app. You download the app.
So I know he's got a little bit of the CT. He's got some of the mush mouth, as they say. I think he's also got a fat dip in. Because he kind of tongue around his bottom lip a little bit.
There's an entire community of people just snitching on each other.
Okay, so what do they call it? A Zin?
It's like Tekashi 6ix9ine made this app. It's fantastic.
Well, that was topical at the time. Tekashi 6ix9ine being a snitch reference.
I scroll that app for hours looking for real crime. I'm like, come on, dude. Somebody fucking kill somebody, for God's sakes. You know how much first 48 I watch? I'm like, we got 48 hours, bro. Let's get going here, man. What I didn't know is you can narrow it down to your hood. You can narrow it down right to your neighborhood. It's dope. You can narrow it right down. So I'm like, ooh, let's see what's popping in this new neighborhood of mine. 2 doors down, Jerry goes, hey, man, this mountain lion ate my goddamn dogs. Somebody needs to do something. Jesus Christ. I'm like, that is not good.
Okay. Again, another missed opportunity. That right there, his response to the thing. One would hope you'd throw a little joke in. You'd get a little punchline there instead of him going, that is not good. It should be like, da-ba-da-da-da. You know, I don't know. It's not my act, but there should have been something there to kind of give us a giggle. Otherwise, we're sitting there like you're just, overloading. You're not relieving some of that suspense with the micro resolution of little chuckle. You're just really building up pressure for this punchline. So when it, I imagine, doesn't land, it's going to be even more disappointing.
Diane, right next door to me, goes, yeah, I used to be the fucking cat lady. Not anymore. That mountain lion ripped my goddamn cat's head off and ate all of them. My kids saw it from the window. We can't sleep at night.
Okay, a little bit of a monopoly guy, but okay.
I needs to do something. This is not good.
See, this is not good. If you could just replace that with something even mildly clever, then you'd be building a 3-part, because first part of the story, same reaction. This part of the story has a reaction. Second part of the story has the same reaction. Third part of the story. But
then David, right next door to me, David goes, yeah, the same mountain lion stole my Amazon package. I'm like, all right, dude.
See, even that is not good would have been funnier there than all right, dude. Again, it's a missed opportunity for adding to your act a little. Again, it's not going to It's not going to kill anyone. You're going to break any ribs this way. But at least then there's, again, some cohesion, or in this case, micro cohesion, where, like, you're telling a story that has a theme, and there's recurring recurring thematic elements. There are motifs sewn in. That is not good. Second part, that is not good. Third part, it's not good. It's something, but he missed that ball entirely. To put it in sports for you.
All right, dude. But that gives me the idea. I'm like, ooh, I know how I'm going to introduce myself to the new neighbors. I'm going to take care of this little kiddie prom for them. That's what I'm going to do. This is going to be easy work. But I need to buy a gun. I need to go buy a gun. Listen, Dallas, I've never owned a gun, never shot a gun, played Call of Duty twice. I'll figure it out. So I go into my local LA gun store. Again,
played Call of Duty twice. I'll figure it out. It's pretty funny. I mean, that's what do they call it? Quaint.
And I've never bought a gun. I got so hustled in there. I got so bamboozled, dude. Listen, I've never shot a gun. I walked out with an AR-15, like the red laser thing on top of it. I walked out with the Zero Dark 30 Navy SEAL night vision helmet. Mm-hmm. What?
He's doing like this thing. It looks like he's going to get his 2 points for character consistency.
I was like, dude, 19 grand for all this? Hell yeah, bro. Fuck yeah, it's a steal, bro. No, I'll wear it out. No, I can see everything, dude. That cat's fucked, bro. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. And I'll let you know, man. Yeah, thank you, dude. Killer deal.
Kind of played that up, but not going to hit him for structural repetition again.
So I get home, I've never owned a gun. I'm hyped up, I'm loading the gun, I got my fucking night vision on. I'm like, this shit is fucking dope, dude. In my head, I'm like, right, this is how I'm envisioning this, right? That cat shows up at 3 a.m. every night, right? So I'll be sleeping. It's 3 a.m., it's late. I'll be sleeping, right? I'm gonna hear, wow! I'm gonna fucking pop out of bed, right? I'm gonna fucking, yeah! And then I always have my Uggs bedside, right? My Uggs will be right there. Be cool, Tom Brady wears Uggs, so I'll slide my...
Yeah, Uggs was funny. A little subversion of expectation there. We weren't expecting him to be an Uggs guy, right? Got another point for that right there. Oh, pap. I need to, get these printed out. I'm still writing in the original here.
Uggs on, right? I'll have my AR-15 like this.
But, we're going to use the same scale to at least do the Who Did It Worst series. And I'll continue to refine and perfect this as I go. Perfect this.
Zero Dark 30 night vision like this. My big dick's right there still. So I'm like...
Big dick's right there still. Okay. Ooh, he's looking at notes.
Dick's right there still. So I'm like...
He's looking at notes. He walks past his... What's he looking at down there?
Vision like this. My big dick's right there still. So I'm like...
He's got his eyes fixed on one particular spot down on the stage. He's looking there. For those of you sleuths out there, this is a 22-25. He's looking down. He's going... He's clearly trying to read something, right? He lingered for too long. But he's not looking at his stool. It's down at the actual stage. If he was looking at his stool, this would be a gimme. He'd lose a point immediately. But I can't prove it.
I don't know why I threw that in, but be cool. So I'm fucking...
Now we're looking down. There's nothing on the stage. What were you looking at, fella? You just looking at the chord or something? I'll give this to the director. Smart move to give us the wide shot from the side here, because he's clearly looking at something on the stage, but there's nothing there. So this is clever either way. Conspiracy brain in me is this is from two different nights. On that first night, he had something there on the stage. Then they patched in footage from the second night when he didn't have it on the stage, and it's all an illusion, man. But I can't prove it.
She's so offended, so I'm here, right?
Why is she offended? At what?
30 night vision like this. My big dick's right there still. So I'm like... don't know why I threw that in, but be cool. So I'm fucking. She's so.
Be cool, they're Tom Brady's. I have a big dick. I don't know why I threw that in. Be cool. It's close. I don't think it's structural. I don't think it's a demerit.
Offended, so I'm here, right? So I'm here, and I catch him like, round, like, enough's enough, dude. I'm gonna slide that sliding door open, like, yeah. And every video I've ever seen, like, online, those mountain lions have, like, those soft, wet, black noses. I'm gonna punt them right in that goddamn nose, fucking, and then.
Well, he's keeping the energy up. God, bro. Oh, no.
I'm looking at my ring camera and go, World Star!
Stop making internet references. They don't age well.
Your boy's gonna go viral. It's gonna be lit as fuck. I can't wait, man. So that next night, right? I'm pacing back and forth. My girl's like, go to bed. I'm all, shut up, bitch. I'm fucking here.
Okay. That was... Again, what is this, comedian stuff? He's just doing more dog stuff over here. Just fake scratching his ear. My wife was like, what are you doing? And I was like, shut up, bitch. It's like, is that how you think comedians are supposed to talk or something? That wasn't a callback to like anything. Could have been, should have been, you might even argue. Because we're closing up right now. Believe it or not, this is his, like, probably one of his final jokes. We're at 23:14 of 25:58. So, I mean, right now would be the time for some callback action, and especially because your wife is a character you've used previously in the special. Would have been, we'll say possible, I don't want to say easy, but it would have been possible to make some kind of, I walk past my wife, she's all covered in flaming hot Cheetos, and I'm like, shut up, bitch, blah, 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 or whatever, anything to contribute to the cohesion of this as a single piece. But no.
Again,
just shut up, bitch, apparently.
Bitch. I'm fucking here.
You bitch.
Again, I got my Ugg boots on. I got my Air 15. I got my Zero Dark 30 night vision on, right? Still got the big dick. Sorry. I'm fucking here. I gotta stick with it, right? So I'm here. I'm looking at the clock. It's all 2:58. I'm all praying to God this cat shows up, bro. It's 2:50 now. I'm like, last day on earth for you, kitty. 3 a.m. hits. I hear, wow. I'm all, showtime. I slide that glass door open. I'm all, yeah.
Structural repetition. I mean, he already did this. He already had us picturing what it would look like when he steps out of the door. It was silly because he came out and he did a kick. He was like, world star. So it's structural repetition. And these are going to hurt him bad. Structural repetition is an X2M. X2N. Times 2 negative. Times 2 positive. So X2P, X2M.
Thing, Dallas. I've never seen a mountain lion in person before.
We'll say minus and plus. X2M and X2P. It is canonized. What did he say?
Here's the thing, Dallas. I've never seen a mountain lion in person before.
Okay, so he came out, was expecting to blow this thing away. He jumped out of his door, and now he's kind of being like, oh, I didn't see this thing.
In my head, I was thinking like a small type of bobcat type of thing, right? Like, the gun's a little extreme. Probably don't need the Navy SEAL night vision, dude. Like, you can probably grab it by the scruff of the neck and be like, enough's enough, kitty. Wow! Wow! Well, no, dumbass. It's a line of the mountains, dude. It's fucking...
It's a lion of the mountains. Lion of the mountain. Whatever.
This thing was Mufasa. Fucking... It's like this mountain lion ate Joe Rogan's trash. This thing was fucking...
It's pretty funny.
Oh, I panicked. Dude, I panicked. I went, oh, shit! I slammed the door. Dude, I threw my AR-15 like this.
Okay.
I fucking threw my night vision. I'm not even left-handed. I was like...
So, This is tough because it's almost a Monopoly guy, but it's technically not. Because he is, to build this ridiculous moment, to build this Monopoly guy, he is using elements found previously in the story. He talked about how he got tricked for the guns and stuff. So like him throwing the gun, that is stitching between that part of the story and now. Yeah, it's he's not getting points for it, but he's not losing any points for it either. It's not a well told story, but it's not technically a Monopoly guy.
Oh my god! Still got my Ugg boots, still got the big dick. Not a big deal.
Big dick, funny callback. Fuck it. Gets a point for that. At least he didn't leave the whole big dick thing as a weird non sequitur.
Sorry. I got in that Ring app the next morning and went, yo, we got an outline problem, y'all.
Okay. Well, The Gringo Papi, a Thick Boy production. Written and performed by Brendan Schaub. Directed by Casey Girardi and Mike Nell. Do we know Mike Nell? Have we heard Mike Nell before? Director of photography is Nick Taylor. Additional camera operators, Kyle Varney, Casey Girardi. Oh, wow. Peter Vatakanavich. Peter Vatakanavich. And Mike Nell. Edited by Casey Girardi. Didn't we already do that? We already know that. Music by Lil Brown. You want to talk about how did you get your band name? I mean, look at him, man. Photography by Roy Conrad. Color by... You can't really see over the next suggested videos. In any case, we got to know what we needed. Oh wait, no, who did the sound? Mixed by Thunder Sound, something under sound. You can't see it because of, again, the next up video that he had baked into this thing. Dublin Dude by Brendan Schaub. Let's say under. Deliberating. We're waiting. We're going to get this thing ready. Gonna do your Eek score as soon as I see that we're back online. Having a problematic day streaming today. As soon as I see those numbers pop up that says you're good, then we will jump into this scoring. Here we are. Okay. So, get a little drum roll going. So this is a little weird, But because it's a zero-sum scale and he did really bad, his total Eek score, given our contemporary scale, is -6. He lost a lot of points on his bad wordplay. That's a 2xm. A 2xm, yeah, which is double the minus points. Structural repetition is where we got him. He got hit the hardest for sure. Had a couple of good things. He did one good Monopoly guy. You know, he did one well set up ridiculous character, but then 2 Monopoly guys, also an X2M. Just really, really kind of pooched himself. Character consistency, he scored double points on, of course, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It's a -6. It's brutal. Anyway, this, to close out the show, is a Green Day song. Said I'm all busted up, broken bones and nasty cuts. Accidents are gonna happen, but this time I can't get up. She comes to check on me, making sure I am on my knees. And after all, she's the one who put me in this state. Is she ultraviolet? Is she disturbed? I'm gonna tell her that I love her before she does it all over again. I bet she's killing me. And for now I lie around, 'cause that's all I can really do. And she takes good care of me. I just keep saying my love is true. Is she ultraviolet? Is she disturbed? I'm gonna tell her that I love her before she does it all over again. I bet she's killing me. And for now I'll lie around, 'cause that's all I can really do. She takes good care of me. I just keep saying my love is true. She takes good care of me. I just keep saying my love is true. Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate you joining us on the first expedition of using the Eek Scale. It was a lot of fun. We'll work out the kinks. We'll figure out all the little problems and such. Critique ourselves as we critique the others. But this, choppy though it may have been, was Critical Eeks. In the meantime, be nice. Let's rock out a little bit.